Hello, true believers. Time to do another vlog, and this time we're going to do something different. It's been a while since I've done one of these talking vlogs, and the main reason why is I've been busy with Hero. As you can see, most of my videos are 90% Hero, and that's normal because he's grown up now, and I'm at a point where I am more dedicated to him now more than ever. Like before, when he was younger, it didn't take that much time, especially with his school. Now, since he's gotten to higher learning and intense subjects and in a more academically inclined school, it required more time for him to stay at a good academic status. For versus other school, it didn't require that much, just a little math here and a little science over here. But as he got older and the subjects got more intense, and then also with his football training also and his physical training. So let me check if I can do this here. Is it still recording? So, yeah, it is still recording. So let's talk about what's going on with him, since that's mostly what my time is being consumed. And what recently happened was prom season. We've been focusing on his sports and his school academics. But I never really talk about his other aspects of life, his social life. And reason why there isn't really much going on there. Everybody knows that Hero is very quiet. He's not very social. Well, to me, he's very social, and some of his friends that he's known for a very long time. But with his new school, even though he's been there since the 7th or 8th grade, since he started high school there because of the pandemic, he came in this year as a new student because the first 2 years they never went to school. So, and then in his last year of junior high school, he finally attended school. But even though he's been there for several years already since the beginning of high school because of the pandemic, he's still the new kid in the school. So on top of his not very social, he is also the new kid. So, but because I'm here now, I'm back in his life after my, let's call it, hiatus. He's complete now. I'm here to take care of him. I'm here to protect him. I'm here to guide him. I'm here to tutor him. I'm here to make his life whole, complete again. And he's like, of course, I'm going to do that. I'm his father, and he's like the most important thing to me ever since he was born, especially now. And I'm at a point where since high school is such an important part of your life and your development, I'm at a point where, since I didn't have a dad, I'm enjoying it so much, like going through it again. Right now, I'm going through high school again with him. So I'm living like vicariously through him. And I'm enjoying it. I'm having the time of my life. And it's because of my experiences I'm able to bestow upon him, like the mistakes I made in the past and things I wish I could have had or could have changed. I'm making sure that he doesn't go through or suffer the same setbacks that I did when I was in high school. So for example, like sports, who wouldn't want to be good in sports? But that takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of time, especially with Hero. He's not naturally talented in anything. I haven't seen something where he can pick up something very fast. Even people who are autistic can pick up certain little things fast. But with him, other than Minecraft or Roblox, he didn't show any special talent, especially in sports. Even now in basketball, he can't even do a layup. I'm sure if I worked on it as long as I did with his football, he would have been fine. But I could do a layup just on my own, but learning it on my own. But him, like I said, he has no natural talent. But that doesn't mean you can't develop it. You can't develop the talent. It just takes a very long time, and it's a very slow, tedious process. But that's okay. Not everybody's the same. Everybody learns at their own different pace. So that's not one thing I want him to do well in sports. And since I didn't do sports, I focused mainly in my school, things that I can control. I didn't have anybody to take me to practice or do extra training so I could get good enough at it so I could make the school team. With him, he's always been playing since he was like, I think, a second grade. He started playing basketball also in second grade, but we changed, the program changed. They didn't allow me to coach anymore. So I said, screw basketball, we'll just stick to football, because he was doing both sports at the same time. And it worked out well because we got to focus on football and he enjoyed it much more and excelled at it. I think he excelled at it much better than basketball because of his height limitations. Obviously in football there's no height limitations, but in basketball, if you're not at least 6 feet, you're not going to make it to any high level of the sport. So he's not going to make six feet. He's the most 5'10", which is a great height for football, but not for basketball. So it worked out that way. And he's, as you can see, he's also an achiever in school. So they have like 3 levels: gold, silver, bronze, and he's a bronze achiever. So we're very happy with that. I thought he was going to struggle once he started doing face-to-face learning, because online he can share the load of the work with me, but when it's face-to-face, I can only work on his homework, but the rest of like quizzes and tests and on-site face-to-face related tasks, he was on his own. And he did well in the first 2 quarters, the first 2 semesters. They're on a tri-quarter system. He did well. He was able to achieve bronze. Last year we did too well. We were actually achieved silver. I guess if we pushed it, we could have gone gold. But anyway, we're very happy that he's a bronze achiever. He's like an A student. Very happy with that. So school's doing fine. He's doing well in school. As he's an achiever, but tragedy happened when he was playing football, or when he was practicing with his football club. He suffered an ACL injury. He collided with his teammate he was playing against, and the guy is 6'2", and he's got to be like 200 something pounds, which is like 40 pounds heavier than Hero. They collided. His knee was not in the right angle, and he went down. And at first I was in denial for like a month. I waited until it was healed, but it wasn't for it to heal before I kind of tried to test it, because he was guarding, but I can tell it wasn't healing properly and that there was just too much movement. So I brought him in to see the doctor, and lo and behold, he suspected the same thing also. We got an MRI to confirm. And so a month and a half later, so we trying to find a doctor. I wanted to get this surgery done right away so he could recover. So maybe by being in denial, I delayed like a month of healing, but a month is not that much. But when you're a teenager, a month feels like an eternity. So fast forward now, as you could see from his video, from his training and rehab, we work on it. Gosh, 5-6 days a week. Not only his leg, but his whole body, his right knee. And he's progressing well. And hopefully he'll return anywhere between 9 to 12 months. But we're in month 4 going into 5 months. So it's still, we're barely halfway through. But he's able to walk just fine, and he's able to recently run just fine, and we're getting him into boxing just fine. So towards the end of the year, I made a video earlier about prom season coming up. And Hero's in his old school, he's always been popular with the girls over there, but he didn't really pay attention too much to them because he just wasn't in that right frame of mind yet. So there wasn't much going on in that aspect of his life. And I told him, no pressure, just do well in school, do well in sports. And he still made friends, but he didn't have a girlfriend yet. I mean, I had a girlfriend back when I was in high school. I had several, actually, but it was a different time. People were more social now, but like face-to-face social versus now, it's the only thing social is social media. So it's harder for the kids to interact together when they'd rather just do it through electronics, which just takes the personalization out of it. But anyway, I didn't want to stress him out on that, or didn't stress it too much because we had so many other things going on. Told him, take care of your school, take care of your sports, everything else. And he had plenty of girls that were interested in him in his old school, but he wasn't really interested in them back. And in his new school, he wasn't socializing with that many at all. He made friends. He made friends with his schoolmates. His teammates and his classmates, but no one really special that he was interested in prom season coming up. And of course, during prom season, the whole buzz and the whole excitement is who's your prom date, who are you going to prom with, all those things of that type of activity. And Hero was talking to me about it, and I could tell that he wished he could get involved in that type of scene where he would be asking somebody out. But I told him that it's not important here in the Philippines. In America, you had to have a prom date to go to prom. If you didn't, most people during my time didn't go if you didn't have a prom date. But now, even in America, even if you don't have a prom date, people will still go as a group. And here in the Philippines, that's not really required. People still went to prom without a prom date. It's not something, but people still did it. Some boys would ask some of the girls, and some of them succeeded, and a lot failed. And he didn't want to be part of that, so he didn't want to ask anybody because like I said, he's kind of still the new kid at school, and he didn't really know people that well. I mean, he knew them, but not that well where he would. But there was a couple of girls that was funny. They hinted in his class that, well, one time he told me the story. He was in his little corner of his classroom, and during one of their breaks, there was a group of them talking in his little corner where the girl says out loud, "Yeah, nobody asked me out to prom, but if anybody would ask me out to prom, hint, hint, I would say yes." Because girls at this point, they want to go and be escorted and feel special, versus boys, they don't care if they go by themselves or they go with somebody. I mean, they prefer to go with somebody, but it's not as important as it is for girls. So at this point, he didn't want to ask because he saw some of his classmates or his teammates get rejected, and he goes, "Oh, I don't want to be part of that." And I told him, "Yeah, just go by yourself." Then an opportunity came up. There's this activity called a cotillion, where it's a choreographed dance and it's completely voluntary. And he mentioned it to me. I said, "Perfect. That's a perfect opportunity to get in to sign up." because you get to be with a partner, you get to have a dance, it's choreographed, it's organized, you have kind of a pseudo date to your prom because you're going to be practicing with this person for almost like a month and you see them every day after school. So perfect. So we're going to let destiny or chance or fate decide who your partner is going to be, and that's going to be your quasi pseudo prom date. And you don't have to ask her out, and there's no pressure. You get all the benefits without the disadvantages of asking out somebody out to prom. She's just assigned to you. The choreographer, the teacher, or the organizer, or the moderator will just assign you a partner. So at first he resisted me and he said, "Dad, I don't want to do that because nobody else is signing up." And I told him, "Perfect, even better." I go, "Remember when when your school had an activity and it was sponsored and it was, you get to dress up in cosplay and you didn't want to cosplay." And he actually suggested this idea to be Luffy from One Piece, because he dressed up as Luffy as One Piece. And when he was younger, during Halloween, we always had him dress up as Halloween when he was a little kid. But now he kind of outgrew that. He was like resisting me. He goes, "I don't want to do that because nobody else is going to do it." And I told him, I had to convince him. It took me a long time. His mom was fighting me because if he doesn't want to do it, they'll make him do it. And I said, "Yeah, but in high school, I remember it's all about getting attention. And there's the right kind of attention and there's the wrong kind of attention. And of course, the wrong kind of attention is like getting in trouble. Like now these days, it's all about like vaping or doing something, some kind of bullying online, anything to get attention, because that's so important when you're a teenager. And there's the right kind of way of getting attention, just like cosplaying. If you're like the best cosplayer, that's the right type of attention." And he goes, "Dad, what if I'm the only one that's gonna cosplay? I'm gonna look silly. I'm gonna look like a fool because nobody else did it, and I'm gonna feel out of place." And I said, "Even better. So you're gonna get more attention because you're gonna be the only person doing it. And just as long as you do it right, then you're gonna get the right attention, and you're gonna get a lot of it, and people are gonna like you for it because you're gonna become more popular." So lo and behold, after some convincing, I told him there's two things that are going to happen. Either you're going to regret you did it, or you're going to regret you didn't do it. So pick which one, okay? And so I finally convinced him to do it. And he said he when he messaged, just right when he walked in, he messaged me and he told me he had so far he's had the best day of his life. He got attention. People were taking selfies with him, and it was correct. He was the only one that wore a costume. Somebody else in his classroom brought a prop, but didn't know what it was, and he couldn't really bring that kind of prop because it was kind of like a weapon. It was like an airsoft gun, and he was trying to pretend to be like some kind of hitman or something like that. But it didn't work. Like which one? So it was too vague. So he didn't really emphasize it. So, but Hiro stuck out like a sore thumb. His hat, his vest, his shorts were all homemade. I made it all. I mean, his just slippers, because it was a very easy cosplay idea, but so effective and so recognizable. And he had the physique to do it. And I gave him a little scar on his eye, also under his, I think, right eye, with a marquee as the cherry on top, and loved it. Got all this attention. Everybody knew who he was. All the girls especially wanted to take selfies with him, all the guys. And he got a lot of attention that day. And so I told him, every time there's a school sponsored activity, you get involved, because you're going to regret wishing you did like I did. I wish I could have done this, I could have done that, but without the right type of support, of course you couldn't do it. And then you got all these accolades and all this attention. So fast forward now to prom season. He said, "I'm the only one who is signing up. Everybody I talk to says they don't want to sign up because they're too cool for school." And I go, "That's not us. We're not too cool. We'll do it. and have fun and enjoy it. I told him the reasons why. So he goes there. So I finally convinced him to go, and just enjoy. Just so you'll enjoy the prom much better being involved in the cotillion versus if you don't. It's an activity. It's a school sponsored activity. You're gonna hate yourself, regret it if you don't do it. And I don't want you to do that. And I always say, I don't want you to end up like me, all bitter and cynical. So, and I have very valid reasons to be so cynical, but Hero is like my redemption. So all the things that I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that he did it so he has no regrets of missing out. So he goes to practice, and he has like one partner, which is she's nice. And that's all he kind of described her to be, as nice. And I said, okay, and then what happened? Well, they were practicing for a while, and he was happy that he had a partner and she was nice. But all of a sudden, there was some error in her assignment. Because there's two dance groups. So one was cha-cha and one was kind of like a ballroom type of dancing. His group was in the cha-cha group. So she was supposed to be assigned to the ballroom dancing group. So after starting practice, she got moved to another group, to the other group, which was originally what she was supposed to assign to. There was a mistake. She was in the wrong group. So they corrected it, and he was kind of left without a partner. Without a dance partner. So he's just kind of going, okay, that's fine. I'll just get another partner. Then lo and behold, out of nowhere, how do I describe her? I guess the best way to describe her culturally is this beautiful, stunning girl. She must be, I would say she's the campus crush, because I actually seen a lot of the girls during prom when they were entering, because I was with Hero at the time. She's absolutely stunning. She's got the it factor. She's beautiful, and I'll give you examples of what I mean. Out of nowhere, her and her friends show up late to practice, and the choreographer grabs Hero by the arm, and her friends are right behind her, pushing them towards each other. So imagine this. Picture this, the choreographer is grabbing him by the arm. Her friends are pushing her towards him. And here they are standing in front of each other, looking at each other, and said, here, you guys are partners. So her friends behind her and their choreography teacher holding Hero's arm, saying, yeah, there, you guys are a match. This new girl, or a new partner to replace the other one that was the previous one that was in the wrong group. And he was like shocked. And he said, are you serious? This is my partner? And all of a sudden, he was going, all right on. The word is absolutely stunning. So, out of the blue, out of nowhere. So he had a nice partner. She was nice, but he didn't really go much more into detail about it versus this new one. And what's funny is previously, the day before, he didn't want to go back to school because he was embarrassed. The day before this is how teenage life is. He when I picked him up from school, he said, Dad, I don't want to get me out of here. I don't want to go to school. I want to burn this place down. I mean, it's almost like he wants to take an AK-47, come back and shoot down the place, because what happened was a teacher called on him. He didn't know the answer, didn't give him time to answer it, because he probably didn't know the answer, and he was embarrassed. Just like when he was like in third grade, he was called, or first grade, and he cried, and I had to talk to the teacher and say, hey, can you call him on him again? And this time I'll prepare him, so that way to make up for what happened last time, so he'll get his confidence again. So this time he didn't know the answer. But the next time he knew the answer. I told him, okay, here's what you do. Teachers usually tell you the answer before they ask you. So just pay attention and you'll have an answer. And that's what he did. The teacher says, oh, good, somebody's paying attention. So the next day I pick him up from school and he goes, oh, you can't believe it. So-and-so is my dance partner. And I'm like, so-and-so is your dance partner? You're just trolling me because she's like the hottest girl in school. Well, she is. And then I go, you're not trolling me. She actually is. So I go, okay, that's good. He goes, yeah, that's good. He goes, you must be happy you signed up. Because, yeah, I'm very happy I signed up because I've got the most prettiest girl, the captain of the volleyball team, most popular girl is my dance partner. And I didn't pick her. She kind of picked me. So I go, okay, so I'll give you an example of how a big deal this is. So he goes to school the next day, shows up to class a little early, and there is like a mob complete with pitchforks and torches, just like rabble in the room talking about him and his partner. So they were like going off and like they're like having this discussion. Who's going to go up to him and ask and confirm the rumors that they're a couple or they're dance partners at the cotillion for the cha-cha group. So the one sends out like a messenger or the person with the white flag saying, okay, here's the terms here of your surrender or our surrender. He says, is it true that so-and-so is your partner? That's how much of a big deal this was that he was being picked by. Because this girl literally could have anywhere. But she's at the point where she's like so pretty and so popular that nobody would be brave enough to ask her to prom. So that's kind of the weird scenario with these type of girls. Like they're like so out of reach, like so that every guy was afraid to. So apparently she didn't have nobody asked her out to prom also. So she joined the cotillion also. Whether she joined because of Hero or not, I don't know. I wasn't there during the process. I mean, I probably have my theories. So they couldn't believe it. They're like, is it true? So they had to send somebody out after a mob discussion. Okay, who's going to ask him? And when he said yes, they all but it wasn't like set in concrete yet. It was just one practice. So they were all kind of blown away by the answer that him, that it's him. Really, him? The new kid? Why him? So anyway, I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to continue this in a sec, when we get back, because I thought it was just going to take 15 minutes. I didn't think it was going to take this long. So let's continue after we get back from his boxing.